Welcome to the Sellsword Sword News Show.
The best sword news show on the internet.
The only sword news show on the internet.
First up, we have pop culture news.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is one of the only sword video game releases we've had in a long time, and we're gonna milk it for all it's worth.
Sword media is dying.
Shut up! We have to make a living!
You're right.
Job!
People have been saying that the combat in the early game is too hard.
People are complaining that at the beginning of the game, you're just some schmuck with no armor and no skills, so it's super easy to get murked by somebody with better equipment and training.
But these same people then go on to say that combat in the late game is too easy.
Turns out, when you have training and better equipment, you're also better.
This just goes to show how accurate the game really is.
Back in the day, life was pay to win.
In fact, it still is.
Depressing. Go touch grass. But if you're incredibly depressed by the lack of difficulty in Kingdom Come Deliverance, we've got news for you.
Warhorse Studios has officially announced the release of hardcore mode.
So there you go, masochists. Stop whining.
Moving on.
You stole my pen. That's my pen. You can't.
This week we have HEMA drama. We got two stories because HEMA drama's always happening somehow.
First up, we have SwordTube drama. There is an imposter among us.
Turns out Sausage HEMA is a fake.
That's right, I'm the real Saber YouTuber. You hear that, Josh? I've been fixing Saber longer than you. You
Wait,
fake aged out scam.
No, he's a fake on Facebook. Someone's stealing his content.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Someone has been stealing Sausage HEMA's content and uploading on a fake Facebook page.
This is a real problem in the SwordTube community, especially for up-and-coming SwordTubers. Not everybody starts a Facebook, a TikTok, and everything else at the same time, and imposters can get in there, steal your content, and make their own. This is so bad that Robin Sword's fake Facebook account is bigger than the real Robin Sword's.
And Facebook hasn't done anything about it, despite everybody reporting it.
Thanks, Zuckerberg.
So what can we do about this?
Not much. Even if you report it, nothing's gonna happen. But you can go harass the fake and make sure you follow, like, and subscribe the real accounts, which we're gonna link in the description. Moving on! See, it's my bit, it's my bit! Next up, more HEMA drama. This post from notorious posting group Try Hard HEMA is going viral amongst the normies.
Not the normies! They don't understand our memes! They cannot comprehend the blade!
A group dedicated to making fun of Americans for being stupid has misidentified this very obvious post as a serious post.
It has been an absolute joy to watch everybody so horribly misunderstand what this is talking about.
The irony.
I don't know what's more brain dead, the original post or the people that fell for it.
Moving on to tournament news. A new tournament rule set has dropped, and the creator says that it is the future of HEMA.
And man, people sure do have opinions about this one.
To explain how this rule set works, imagine, if you will, the unholy matrimony between boxing and Dancing with the Stars, where a highly technical combat sport is judged based on vibes and how cool you look doing it.
So how do you know if you're winning?
You don't.
How do you know if you've won?
They'll tell you later.
What do you need to do well?
Look cooler than your opponent.
Sounds like a great time. People in HEMA love it when judging is ambiguous. But in all fairness, we did fence under this rule set last year, and it was a good time.
There were some complaints about the clarity of the rule set and people not knowing what they were being judged on, but they have been working hard on this rule set, so
we'll keep our eyes peeled and see how it goes this time.
Moving on!
In HEMA book news, there's a new translation out. David, do you like The Messer?
No, it's a crappy saber.
Agreed!
But if you do like Messer, Keith Ferrell has just translated a new treatise by Jobs van Württemberg. You can go check it out.
David, have you read it?
No, I can't read. Moving on! Time for a new segment called Sellsword Charts.
Last week, we put out a poll asking two things. One, are swords cool?
And two, are people who like swords cool?
And the results are in. The people have spoken. 100% of people we polled agree that swords are objectively cool.
But, interestingly enough, only 15% of people said that people who like swords are cool.
Now this data might be confusing and might not make sense at first glance, but we can assure you it tracks.
I mean, have you ever met anybody who likes swords?
I have, and man, they aren't cool.
For a little bit more further insight, let's go to our report in the field.
This is the stupidest segment ever. You guys are dorks.
Moving on! Next up, we've got Comment Combat,
where we look at your comments and tell you that you're wrong.
First up, our video about the scimitar and how that term doesn't really mean anything and isn't very accurate.
And man, were people butthurt about this one.
We might have been a little bit spicy and used the term sword racist because we thought it was funny.
And boy, did that trigger the snowflake.
Let's look at some of the comments. Billy Joe 77 says that you can't tell me what to say, I'll say scimitar anyway.
You are correct. Continue to be ignorant.
JagXFan77 says that scimitar sounds cooler.
Man, you've been playing way too much RuneScape and it shows.
SwordFud69420 says, I've been using scimitar my whole life and I can't be bothered to learn a new word.
Okay, boomer.
Moving on! This last comment doesn't come from any specific video, but we get this comment a lot, and that is, Clark, are we friends or lovers?
Moving on!
No!
Next up we have good sword, bad sword.
where we look at swords and tell you if they're good
or bad.
starting with
The Buster Sword.
this is a bad sword.
Terrible sword, way too heavy.
It would be impossible to wield. I don't care what kind of special training you have, it's too heavy.
Get a better sword. Next up we have
Anduril.
great sword.
One of the best fantasy swords ever made, in my opinion. It's just a really good, fancy-looking long
So
sword.
iconic.
Also, Viggo Mortensen used it, and he's cool. Did you know that he broke his toe when he was doing the
Next up we have the Dothraki Arak.
good sword?
This is a fantasy sword done right. It's basically a cool Kopesh.
The description of the books versus what was shown in the show do differ, but this version here would be pretty effective.
Cool sword.
Next up, we have the Minecraft sword, which is a
Terrible
good
sword.
What do you... Dude, it's just a normal sword.
Look at it. That'd be terrible. The hole's all pixelated.
no,
like
no,
serrated.
that's just the aesthetics of the game. The whole game is
Well,
pixelated.
If you change the aesthetics of
We're
the
not
game, of course
changing
it's gonna
everything.
work
Listen to this
IRL.
stuff. Look, Minecraft, see, all doesn't look like that in real life.
Yeah, of
It's a
course it
normal
works for
guy.
you, Minecraft, Steve.
Are you saying you look blocky?
You can't even fit through doors.
Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoyed the video. This video was a lot of fun to make, but it's also a lot of work. So if you want to help support us, please consider joining our Patreon for as low as $1 a month. It makes a huge help, and we'll see you on the next Sellsword Sword News Show.